So the political situation we have going on right now, this pathetic, really pathetic group of candidates, pretty much on all fronts.
Yeah.
In my opinion, with Bernie being the one exception.
I agree.
What do you think he would make of this? Now, he obviously was socially liberal, but
yes.
he didn't identify as a Democrat, did he?
He didn't vote.
Yeah. But he didn't vote at all.
But he was very progressive.
Yeah.
He always chose people over property. So whatever candidate chose people over property, he would lean towards that. Before he died, he was happy about Hillary. Back in 2008, that was. He was not around for the big Obama surge, and I know he would have been thrilled to have seen a black president. I know he would have really been thrilled about that. And I got to be in Washington in November picking up his Mark Twain Prize when Obama flew over. My husband and I were on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, and Obama flew over in the helicopter to go visit George Bush in the White House for the first time. And all I could think about is, I wish my dad was here right now.
Yeah.
It would have brought a tear to his eye. Absolutely. He was a very sentimental man in that way. But he saw it all as bullshit, as he said all the time. He really had a detachment to it. He didn't vote. He hadn't voted since McGovern lost in '72. I think that's when his heart really broke.
Yeah.
Did
he struggle with that internally, that he wasn't voting, yet he was talking so much about the system, but he also felt the system was so broken almost that it was sort of beyond repair.
His logic was that if you vote, you don't have the right to complain.
If you vote... Wow, that's talk about flipping something on its head.
Yeah, that was his position.
Because then you're part of the problem.
Yes, completely. That was his thing. And he'd said that a few times, and I too was like, but that was his stance. So, and that's where he stood with that. And, he really did. He was able to compartmentalize and detach. Like I said, at home, rooting for Hillary, happy that, that she was, shaking things up. But on stage, he would never talk about, one way or the other. I mean, like Louis Black, his politics. Know who he's voting for. Bill Maher, he gives money. He's tried to give money to Bernie on Friday. He's like, I want to give you money. I can only give you $5,400. You're not taking any super PAC money. He'd probably give him another $1 million.
I mean, Bill Maher literally gave an Obama super PAC $1 million.
He did.
And it was sort of brilliant what he said, because he's like, I know this sounds like I'm doing this for Obama, but I'm doing this for me because I don't want the other guy to become president.
And that's what he was saying Friday night, too. It was like, if you don't like the fish, eat the chicken, people.
But do you think as a comic there's a risk in that, because then you've shown your cards too much, and that what your dad did in a way by holding a little closer?
I think every comic has their own approach. It's as, that we're all snowflakes.
Yeah.
Snowflakes. Everyone's got their own approach to it in their own way. My dad liked being not part of it all. He liked having no stake in it, so that he could emotionally detach from it. I think that's how he personally protected himself from all of it too. I personally don't think that's a healthy way to go through life. Love my dad dearly.
Yeah.
My dad was like, I gave up on the species, I gave up on the planet, and I was in my late 30s, early 40s at the time, and I was like, well, gee, I hope to have 30 to 40 more years on the planet. I'm still kind of involved in the species.
Right, you need a little more.
And I get that, evolution is slow, but I do believe in the evolution of consciousness, so I try to do my little part. My dad, he was never an activist. He was never on the front lines, even in the Vietnam War and all that kind of stuff. I mean, he had opinions about it, but he's not a man who got involved. He, on stage, did his activism.
Yeah, and there's probably something to be said for that we all in life, and I'm not just talking about comics, but everybody sort of picks their little role about how they're going to go about things.
Yeah.
And some people are going to, have kids and try to teach them the right thing, and then some people, like your dad, will have one child, but then teach a generation.
Yeah, although he claimed he never was not about changing minds.
Right.
When I used to say, ugh, please, really, bullshit, Dad. Like, come on.
Oh, he changed minds.
He was professorial. I mean, that's what he did. He had a big stick, and he'd come out and whack us all with it and go, we'd all go, oh, shit, you're right. Oh, that's right.
Yeah. That's the beauty of it more than, is that really ultimately the beauty of comedy more than anything else? That when I would watch those specials, from being 12 years old to being 35, that I would watch them and go, God, this is the truth. This is the truth.
And I don't know how any other comic where, even as his daughter, I would feel changed in some way by each of his shows. There was something in me some idea I had about the world had been stretched in a new way. Not always a comfortable way, but something had been like, oh, a little mind expansion had gone on. And I don't know if there are other comics who do that. I mean, I'm entertained by a lot of them.
Mm-hmm. Well, it does seem that something in comedy has changed where counterculture doesn't seem to be very cool anymore. Your dad, part of the coolness was he was counterculture. And right now, if you were counterculture, it really means you're sort of against the administration, so somehow you're against Obama.
Yeah.
And I think maybe because of all this political correctness stuff, there's a sense that that's not cool. So it's sort of like the death of comedy in a weird way.
I don't know. I think there's still a lot of independence in that. I mean, comics are always the outsider, no matter what. I mean, even if they vote and they give $1 million, Bill Maher's still going to give Obama shit for shit.
Right.
I mean, he's still got his positions, and Lewis Black too, And
he was giving Bernie shit, Bill Maher, just the other day as he was saying, I support you.
Yeah, and I think that really is the independent thinking and spirit of comedy. So I think that is, I really do think that's alive and well. I mean, I spoke about Amy Schumer earlier. When I first saw Amy Schumer 3 or 4 years ago, she was on the Roseanne roast, and I thought, oh, really, dick jokes, girl? Like, we fought so hard, and you're telling dick jokes?
Yeah.
I didn't get it. I didn't get she was playing a persona, that she's kind of pushing up against all of this stuff. And she's doing it in her own way, too. She's counterculture in some way because she is she's a huge feminist, and yet she's taking some of it to task at the same time. And I like that. She makes us a little uncomfortable around that stuff.